back to Mighty Words, your host, Almighty Khan, also go by Lord Zaire. You know, we here, like I said, the basis of it, we talking about relationships. Make sure you go subscribe, like my video, my channel, Mighty Words. But you know, the basis of what we talk about is built on relationships, how relationships is the foundation, and how there are many relationships that a lot of people don't understand, and a lot of people just look at one side of relationship, and one relationship means everything. But the first one, I got the intro, I broke down what is a relationship, 2 key words that's in relationship that a lot of people overlook, and that's relay and ship. So I went over that in my first video. You guys go check that out. In my second video, I broke down marriage and how I view marriage. Very controversial, never rehearsal. So definitely go check that out so you can see how I broke that aspect down. And now I have my good brother, Stevo, a warrior in the community, does a lot of things, respected, connected, and accepted all over the country. And he would be a good person to talk about, because I was like, you know what? I said I'm gonna talk about sexual relationships, committed relationships, marriages, friendships, business ships, and also friends with benefits. A lot of people look at friends with benefits kind of differently. So I couldn't have a better guest than to have my brother, Stevo, who's been in some entanglements with some beneficial relationships, since I've been knowing him, and that's been a long time. So, Stevo, let the people know who you are, man, what you got going on before we get into this, man.
All peace and blessings to everybody tuning in on Mighty Words. I'm Stevo. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm known as a community activist. I mess with the music a little bit. I do a little traveling. We do a lot of nonprofit work. We do a lot of positive and productive things. So that's mainly what, we do. So it's an honor and a pleasure to be up here with my brother right now discussing this very interesting topic.
Now, Stevo, like I said, man, we done a lot of things together, all over the country, and we seen a lot, at young ages that really molded our mind. And like I said, you also one of the first brothers who told me I need to do a show, based on the different views that I have. So, Steve, in your opinion, man, let me know, to you, when people always, like I said, we live in a day and age where people were like friends with benefits, and they automatically just think one thing. They automatically think of some dick and some pussy shit, like it's all about some fucking. So if you can, to me, in your view, what is friends with benefits? That the viewers who can be one-minded and only thinking stuff from certain perspective, what would you say in your view? As a brother who's been all over the country, beautiful ladies, what does friends with benefits mean to you?
Okay, so first and foremost, you have to start out with what the title is. If you're saying friends with benefits, you're a friend first. So quite naturally, he or she is in your best interest as a human, first and foremost. When you're adding on the benefit part, you two may come together, have a common interest. You may have a common goal. You might have a common career where y'all helping each other, pushing each other to excel to that next level. It's a lot of layers with it, depending on the situation and depending on what kind of relationship it is as far as with friends with benefits. Like you mentioned earlier, and I'm glad you mentioned that, a lot of people get this confused like it's just a sexual thing.
Right, they do.
Because somebody's benefiting you, a man or a woman, that doesn't mean sex has to even be involved with that. So that's how I see it with friends with benefits. You have somebody who has may have a common interest in you, common career. Y'all have something in common. Y'all coming together. It's an energy there. But y'all in the best interest of each other.
Man, that was well said. Because like I said, man, just hearing that. Why do you think so many people, when they hear friends with benefits, especially, a lot of men, a lot of women, when they hear friends with benefits, because I hear a lot of women say, if you got friends with benefits, or I don't want no parts of you, anything. Why do you think so many people look at it like on a negative side of it, but not look at it more of like what you said. You broke it down, what is a friend first, and then how we can benefit each other, whether it's in life and feels. But why do you think so many people look at it like it's just all about sex all the damn time?
I think that the actual, the friends with benefits, it sounds taboo almost. To people, men and women who have been in serious relationships or marriages or whatever you want to call it, whatever title you put on your situation, it was always it just sounds bad. Like friends with benefits. It's just, you thinking that this is just somebody you're going to get cool with and y'all going to fuck. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what it is. It just sounds bad. And we have a lot of self-conscious people. If somebody is on the outside looking in, a lot of men or women, they feel insecure about that. Somebody judging my situation, saying I got a friend with a benefit.
Because people like that title.
They love that title. It's not a good enough title to some people, and they feel less of a man or less of a woman because of that title. But you got people with actual titles who are married, who are in what they, presume to be official relationships, that absolutely means nothing.
Absolutely. Man, that's real right there. Like I said, just how you broke that down, because like I said, I'm really like you. A friends with benefits to me is you guys are friends. So you found the common likeness with each other for you to be friends. Then you grew up on that. Then how you could see like, oh man, you also involved in this too, or that's something I never got into but wanted to get into. And you guys become friends with benefits. And then I feel friends with benefits also can develop in other relationships, but the friend is the first one. So when you come to a lot of these women, why do you think that when they say friends with benefits, that they don't want to look at it like, he can benefit me mentally, he can benefit me spiritually, he can benefit me in a financial place to where that we can get it together and he can open my mind to new horizons, but they just don't want to look at it like that. And it seems like so many guys have messed it up. So what are some of the obstacles you would say that a guy, good brothers like us, need to overcome when trying to be friends with a woman and then showing like, hey, let's have a beneficial relationship in this friendship?
Well, first and foremost, it has to be patience. When I say patience, you got to have patience as a friend, a brother, mother, father, sister, whatever. You got to have that patience with somebody who you really love, regardless of if y'all in a relationship or not. If you got love for this person, you're going to have patience with this person. I think that, also, and, correct me if I'm wrong, even before you're in an official relationship, y'all got to be friends with benefits first. You got to be friends with benefits first before you're in an official relationship.
But we in the day and age, like you said, that's true, with so many people, they want to just skip the friend process and jump right into, you my man, I'm your woman, if you looking for marriage, I'm looking for marriage, let's go. Why do you think people just skip so many of those lines and skip friendship and jump right into something else?
I think it's the pressure of their peers, social media, a lot of these, what I call them, fake relationships where you got the couple that look good, where they take pictures all the time, but they got a real terrible situation outside of social media or outside of the limelight. You got people who are constantly criticizing and scrutinizing these people who, I want a friend with a benefit, I want to do this, I want to do that. You got that pressure from the outside coming out, and it's making people feel self-conscious because, to be honest with you, brother, a lot of these people don't know how to be themselves. Because what they want, if you want that, should nothing stop you, regardless of what somebody else's opinion is. That's how I see that. So it's the pressures of the outside world and, what is he gonna think, or what is she gonna think? That type of thing. So that's how I see it, man. But ultimately, you have to do what's best for you in your life, and if that makes you happy and it's good for you, then can't nobody knock that. Can't nobody come in between that.
Now, would you say a person can be just friends based off a common likeness and just be friends but not benefit each other?
I think that majority of friendships don't benefit each other. I'm gonna be honest with you, because if you got extreme love for a person, you're not gonna care if they benefit you or not. You understand what I'm saying? But if you got extreme love for a person and they do benefit you, that's a plus. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like most friendships in life, period, like they don't benefit each other in no kind of way. Y'all pretty much bonded by love. But when the beneficial aspect comes in, it's like, oh, that's a plus too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Man, that's real. Like I said, I never even looked at it like that. Like you said, just, you know, it's a lot of friendships that don't benefit. Like they just there just based off one common interest, whether they had the same shoes in school or something, and they just became friends. But really, that's about it. Never really helped each other in no aspects, never supported each other in any aspect. So how do you think friends with benefits just automatically turn to something to where it becomes a sexual relationship, to where most people, when they hear friends with benefits, that's what they assume is a sexual relationship? How do you think a person kind of ease into it just becoming a full-blown sexual relationship, and just because they having sex, it became to we're benefiting each other because you're getting a nut and I'm getting a nut. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you got social media, you got all these acronyms and shit. You know what I'm saying? The FWB and the DTF down the fuck and all this goofy ass shit. So social media, the world we live in is over sexualized. We all know this. You know what I'm saying? You can see sex on anything that you want to see it on. So
let me ask you a question real
ahead.
quick. Do you think that that's something that's by design? That sex is just so accessible now? Do you think that that's something as designed? Because when we were growing up, it wasn't something like that.
I think that that's by design. And it's funny that you bring that up, and it's not to be off topic, but you know,
because you work in the schools and you see how things is with, you know, so that's why that was a good something to get into.
Absolutely, it's promoted. It's promoted to our youth, just like, you know, we seen a book earlier promoting homosexuality. I don't have nothing against.
What was the name of the book again?
The Gay BCs.
The Gay BCs.
I have nothing against the no homosexuals. I met some cool people who are, you know, homosexual, men and women. But at the same time, I just always been the type of brother where I feel like you shouldn't force that on the youth. But that's a whole nother conversation, and that's some whole other layers we can dig on. But you know what I'm saying? That's part of the problem, man. It's a lot of stuff being promoted. You know, this pretty much programming people from the young to the old out here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So basically how we was talking, how does it, friends with benefits just come into a sexual relationship? Like, how do you think that happens? What gets to that? Where people just label that just because we having sex with no title, we just friends with benefit?
You got a lot of men and women who don't know how to articulate what they want. So they use friends with benefits when in actuality they just want to fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some men and women who just, in actuality, they just want to have sex. So they use that title like, oh, you can be my beneficial friend or nothing like that. But, you know, you look up benefit or beneficial in the dictionary, it's nothing that has to do with sex with the definition. Benefits are incentives, things that help you and that person excel within life. So if I really got love for you, I'm going to be in your best interest, but most importantly, I'm going to be your friend first. I can't have a wife without her being my friend first. And if we're not beneficial to each other, then what are we to each other? I done had conversations with, you know, young men and young women, and, you know, that, oh, I love her, Steve, or she tell me, oh, I love him, Steve, he won't do that. And then you ask them, like, this person that you're in a relationship with, y'all was friends first. How does this person support your goal? How does this person support your dream? How is this person in your corner? They don't even have an answer for you. You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of people in marriages and relationships that don't benefit them at all on both parties. So that's how I see it. Just in it for a title, and you got people, like I said, it's the pressures of social media. We may get on social media, we see good pictures, we see good videos. Two people smiling, and on the outside looking in, we like, damn, they happy. But you dig into the reality, every day when they come home, they fight, they fuss, this nigga fucking her best friend. You know what I'm saying?
Something like that.
She might be fucking a man close to him. You know what I'm saying? It's the shit that we don't see and the shit we don't hear. We be programmed by pictures, images, and things of that nature. So
Program with
that's how it
pictures and
is.
images. That's heavy right there. That's heavy. Well, hey, man, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. We just getting started. We're going to get to the nitty gritty of some things, ask some questions, and stay tuned. Mighty Words coming back. Stevo G.